for the moment we've all waited for and why we're here. Let's all stand, please, and greet and make welcome our New York District Governor that's here today, special, just for us. And let's hear what she has to say. Please, Brenda Johnston.
Wow, this has been some afternoon, hasn't it? Wow, we've been entertained, the food is delicious, and we've been hearing all about the great work that you guys are doing here in Queens East. So I want to thank you for having Peter and myself here today and offering all of this hospitality that you have. So I want to tell you this, that this has been some year, and nobody can question that. We've lost friends to COVID, but we've also known people who have had babies. We've had failures, but we've also had triumphs. And throughout this year, I learned a lot of lessons, including that the human spirit is adaptable and will not give up even when it looks like we should. I learned who I could count on, and I also learned to ignore the doomsayers, the ones who said, I can't, instead of let's try. I learned a lot from our key clubbers, our Circle K, about technology, marketing, and leadership. I learned to open my heart and my mind to new ideas, to try different ways of doing things. And most of all, I learned to have gratitude for everything. I've chatted with hundreds of people around our district and have witnessed the greater good that all clubs are doing for their communities. I also hear that people are struggling to get through the day. I hear the struggles of people stepping up to leadership in our clubs, and I hear how that struggle is affecting the day-to-day maintenance of our clubs. And people tell me, I'll do service, but I do not want to take a leadership role. And to those people, I'm going to tell you this. You are a leader. You are leading by example. And you are leading by doing this service, and you are leading by being there. Kiwanis needs you, your clubs need you, your communities need you, but most of all, the children need you. Leadership is a state of mind, not a title. And many here have taken the role of president or secretary, and you've served on the board for years. And you want someone to take your place, but you don't know how. Is it time to look at how you may be looking at your replacement, or how you present that role? Is it time to have some leadership training and get the club rededicated and excited about the leaders, not only in your club, but in your division for that matter? Leadership is not something that we are born with, and it's not something that we're anointed with either. It's a skill that has to be practiced often. Leadership is not a job title, it's a way of thinking. And we are all leaders in some way. Every day we make decisions, small or large, that affect the people around us. Our greatest challenge, not just in our clubs or our divisions, but in our district as a whole, is having people stepping up to take leadership roles, to coach their peers, to make sure that our communities are being better served by Kiwanis. What's holding us back from taking a more substantial role? And I know we are busier than ever before, but we need to be the leaders that we wish we had had. And as leaders, we need to engage others in committing their energy to something of value and make it successful. And that sounds to me like a Kiwanis club. So I'm going to ask you again, what's holding you back? And being a leader doesn't end, it simply evolves. The role you had 10 years ago doesn't look the same today. It's not good or bad, it's just different. And that goes for any leadership role, whether you're a district chair, a committee chair, board member, president, and even governor. Roles have changed. And now that we've identified what the challenge is, now what? How do we bring about change in our clubs? How do we engage people to want to take on leadership roles? And I'm going to tell you it begins with you. And your first action step as a member is to change the dialogue you are having with yourself. Each day, I begin with telling myself 5 things that I am grateful for. And it's not just being grateful for family, friends, and Kiwanis. It's more than that, and I actually get quite specific. For example, last year, a lieutenant governor, after I spoke at one of their meetings, gave me a book, and it's called Make Your Bed. And it's by a man by the name of Admiral William McRaven. And it's based on a talk that he gave at a commencement, and it's all about the lessons that he learned as a Naval SEAL. And it begins with, if you want to change the world, make your bed. And I know that sounds simple, but it's deeper than that. It's about starting your day with a task completed. No matter how simple it might be, like making your bed. And for me, that task that I do is talking to myself every morning and telling myself, what am I grateful for? And I want to thank Ralph, who the Senate was the gentleman who gave it to me, for giving me that book. I recommend it, and if you haven't seen it, and you can see it actually on YouTube, you can look it up. But your first step is to change your mindset. And your next step is to make a vision plan. And how do you want your club to look in 3 years or 5 years? Do you want 10 members or 5? If you're Sandy Lou, do you want 100? Do you want to have new people in leadership roles? Then you need to make a plan on how to get there. It's wonderful to have a vision, but you need to have a step-by-step vision. And some of you are already saying, that's not going to work. And you're right, it's not, if you don't try. So then the next step is, what's your strategic plan for your club? Your plan is your roadmap to success. And yes, there's always going to be times that you veer off course, and that shortcut that you thought was going to save 4 hours, actually, that you thought that added 30 minutes to your trip. The strategic plan is made up of 5 areas: membership and engagement, leadership development and education, community impact, branding, and finally your financial. And all of these are important, and all of these need each other. They are actually intertwined. And sometimes we neglect one and it goes unnoticed, but after a while, lack of commitment in any one of these areas is going to weaken a club, and it will feel like we're rebuilding all over again. And as you know, my government project has to do with disaster relief, and part of that is about training ourselves to be better prepared for a disaster. And whether it's in disaster preparedness, CPR, stop the bleed, or anything else, it's about training so that we are prepared for what's going to happen. You must have a plan to be successful. So this year has been about evolving, and as some like to say, we've learned to pivot. And I don't know about you, but I didn't know a whole lot about Zoom until I had to. And now, would you like to Zoom or call as a part of my toolkit, whether it's a meeting or recruiting a new member, and it needs to be a part of yours. So, technology, I have news for you, is not going away. And we need to embrace it, and we need to make sure that we're using it to our advantage. And there are tons of ways to learn how to do that. I would invite, we have 3 key clubbers right here. They'd be happy to do a whole membership invitation and show you how to use Zoom, right? Take a class. Go on YouTube, watch videos. But my favorite is invite a relative who's under 12 over, and they'll show you exactly how to use Zoom. And finally, one of the best things that happens when you develop your leadership skills are the people that you meet along the way. Like Sandy Lou, Chung Dick, Rich Hall, the Caraces. All of these people, I have to say, have turned into very good friends of mine. But I have to tell you that working alongside Governor-elect Jimmy Mancuso, bouncing ideas off of him, including him in my vision for what our district is, has really been one of the highlights of this year. And he likes, and I have to tell you this, he likes a PowerPoint and a spreadsheet more than I do, so we've had quite the discussions. But in order to have success in our mission of helping others, we must embrace the future. And we must embrace the people who are part of that future. And I've said this before, but I can't state it enough. Jim, Susie, Peter, and I appreciate your friendship. And we are so grateful for your guidance, listening skills, and certainly your sense of humor. So thank you for always being there for us. So I encourage all of you to include people in your journey of self-awareness. And have fun along the way. Didn't we have fun today? The dancers, the singing. That's what it's about. Right? And so I end every talk I ever give with please be kind. Look for the joy in all you do and be the light in someone's life.